Have you figured that out after 6 years?
I have figured
Let's start
that out.
over here. What do you guys got? Anything?
Christian?
With Peyton Henry going on scholarship,
Yeah.
his thought process behind doing that right now?
Yeah, he's done just such a good job. I think, how he's worked is what we're all about. It's just about keeping your nose down, keep improving, keep progressing. There's going to be some good days. There's going to be some tough days. And as long as you keep grinding, things get better. And he's done that here, and it's awesome to be able to put him on scholarship.
I'll ask you a question. I've asked you before, at the risk of totally annoying you, so I apologize in advance. We've talked before about being able to practice on grass before a game like this. Any thoughts on kind of where that is as far as maybe trying to pull that off with a soccer stadium or anywhere else around here?
Yeah, we've researched this long and hard, and there's no grass around here. I mean, that's the bottom line that we can use. So we practice on turf, and it's really not an issue. We've been on grass a long time. If we aren't getting things done out there, it has nothing to do with the surface. Guys slip on our turf. The surface that we have on the practice field is different than the game field. So it's all about fundamentals of planting on the correct foot and all those type of things. It is what it is.
Is there any one position that you get concerned more about footing when you go to a place like Provo?
Maybe the kickers, and they've been on grass. We've got them on grass. So, and it shouldn't, that should be no different as well. But we do it just because sometimes kickers overthink things. So we took them over to the grass.
I know another thing you can't control those, the altitude in Provo. I mean,
that has nothing to do with nothing, except for the kickers might kick the ball a little further. I mean, that's one thing I think that could happen. But we've been at altitude many times. We've been at Wyoming a bunch of times. I have, and the only time I've ever seen it at 7,200 feet affect our team is when we had a 17-play drive once, and that's it. And that was the only time I knew that they were tired coming off. But both sides were tired after a 17-play drive.
Chris, you talk about the grass, and have you ever seen situations where teams will intentionally try to let it grow or do something, specifically?
Yeah, I think so. Sure. I mean, but a lot of these kids, maybe it's different now. I was going to say, high school. I guess everybody's turf these days, But I think a lot of guys are, they come here and they're used to playing on perfect surfaces, and but I think growing up they didn't play on perfect surfaces. So like I said, that to me is a bunch to do about nothing. Whether we're talking about the altitude, that's not going to have anything to do with us playing well or not.
And personally, for you, whether as a coach or player, what was kind of the craziest surface or situation that way?
I think a couple times. I haven't had this as a coach, but when I was in college, we played on. I think they were all grass fields. Maybe 1, 2 was not. And then by the end of the year, they get really, really muddy. And I mean, to your ankles, like that's an issue. A little bit longer grass is not an issue. And so where we go.
When you take a team on the road for the first time in a given year, how much do you spend on the fundamental things like the communication, substitution, things like that, just for a refresher for these kids?
That is a fundamental from day one. It truly is. So there's nothing new here. It really isn't. We have noise in practice all the time. We've had it for the last month for our defense, but our offense goes against our defense. And so the offense might have got a little more noise. It's not exactly the same because we have noise all the time, and you try to vary it because when it's like you have it all the time, they actually do better. It's when, it's fluctuating like a real game. And, heck, we jump offside sometimes at home when it's quiet. So we prepared them, as well as we can. But the communication thing, I can't tell you how much from day one, whether there's no noise or noise, that's just what we do.
When you said that you take the kickers to grass,
Yeah.
Is that somewhere here? You just take them
Yep.
over to a grass field? Here,
No,
or?
yeah, around here. And they just kind of work on planting and kicking and all that kind of stuff. I mean, to show them that, it's kind of all the same. Things didn't really change just because you're on grass.
It sounds like you just think it's unnecessary to practice on grass because the soccer field here is grass. You can't use that soccer field for any purpose at all, or?
No, that's their field, and our kickers get over there and play with it a little bit. But we're not going to be able to go out there and practice on that. That's their field.
Anything else?
You mentioned Trey Lowe did not practice last week.
Yeah.
And you kind of insinuated.
He's week to week. Good
Okay.
try. Next
Did he
question.
practice this week?
Next question. It's week to week.
What are you seeing from those younger wide receivers this week that maybe leads you to believe there could be some more opportunity there?
Yeah. You know, I think everybody's practicing hard. That's what I really think. And I am, you know, I'm proud of how our guys practiced. You know, I think we practiced the right way, just not the young guys, the old guys. I mean, I think we all know we got a really good team that we're going to play on the road, all those things. I mean, this team's got a lot of momentum. And so I think everybody practiced hard and it felt good.
Do you have to 100% see it in practice before a guy gets into a game, or do you subscribe at all to the potential kind of gamer theory where a guy could step up and be a monster on game day, but maybe not show it during practice?
Not even kind of.
Yeah.
Not even. That would be the exact opposite of what we're about. Now, do I think that guys turn it up in games and there's a little bit of different level? Yes, I do. I mean, that's what the big time players are all about. But those big time players put it on tape almost every day in practice, where they win the drill, they are a dominant player in practice, and then we get to the game where everybody, it's just different, turns it up and they show up again. So, you know, I do believe in game players that way.
Yeah.
But I've not been around anybody that practices poorly and then, oh my gosh, what is this? I think, you know, that's fantasy land from where I come from.
Is Henry Bangabalo back available
Yep,
this week?
he is. He's back rolled.
Chris, when you're searching for answers in the red zone, for instance, and you see a tape of like BYU playing against SC, and you see some of the things they're trying to do at the goal line, does that pique your interest at all in terms of bringing in some of the big defensive linemen and some of that kind of stuff?
There's a lot of things that always pique my interest. I think the trick in this whole thing is to not do too much. Like that is something that is a weakness of mine. We will always try to, you know, err on the side of probably doing too much, and that's not a good thing. You know, I go back to some of these teams that are really efficient. They do what they do. There's enough there to keep you off balance. But I think that stuff is always interesting. And, you know, I see them put in the defensive players, and that's fun for those guys. I mean, I get what they're doing. We've done that in the past, and, you know, I really understand that, so that's kind of cool. But you got to pick and choose, you know, your battles, like where you want to spend time, because it all takes time and practice time, and we only have so much.
I know a guy like Taki, for instance, was a good two-way line.
Are you on the take? Are you taking money from Taki?
No, I'm just saying. In high school, he was a great two-way lineman. Is he lobbying to get in there and trying to knock some guys over?
They're lobbying for the ball. Like if we put him on the offensive side to block somebody, he'd look and say, "Is there any chance to get the ball?" Like, you know, we'll be in meetings and say, "Okay, returners next door." And Thule and Taki try to get up every time. I'm like, "You're not coming with us. You're not returners." So I don't know if we want to even open up that can of worms. But you know, if we did a package like that, there's no question he's a powerful guy that, you know, could probably do some things, knocking some guys around.
So too much hype around Taki? Is that what you're saying? Or what do you think?
Just not sure. I mean, I think, you know, the guys kind of all stick together sometimes.
Is there a little extra juice for you when you go on the road for the first time and walk out into somebody else's stadium?
Yeah, I wouldn't describe it as extra juice, but I do think it's, you know, there is a different challenge that I like. You know, there's got to be tremendous poise that has to come from your team, you know, because you do feel it. I mean, it's just different than being at home. You know, it's awesome to play at home. There's nothing like it. And you go on, you know, on the road, and those momentum swings, you just feel them. And so you just got to, you know, you talk about just staying mentally strong and just sticking to it and not overreacting and being all about poise. So, you know, that I enjoy.
Are you kind of where you thought you'd be after 3 games, maybe a bit ahead, a bit behind, right where you thought you'd be after 3? What do you make of kind of the progress report after
I think
that?
it's good progress. You know, this will be a heck of a challenge for us, and that's where we're always tested, right? That's test day when we go on Saturdays. But in terms of how they've been working and you know, studying and progressing, you know, I think it's been what we want.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, thank you guys.